So I think this idea of assessing assessing what matters to us in light of our finitude, in light of the fact that actually this is a wake-up call. All of us will die. And that's one thing that hasn't come up through this conversation, is that mortality has always been 100%, right? So
aren't you working on that, Lydia?
This is what I work on. So anyway, I've been grateful for the conversations I've been able to have with friends and family about what matters, matters to us, and how we're going to reassess our lives going forward, our relationships going forward, our commitments, our work, in light of sort of the big picture and in light of our own mortality. So I think that's given us a good opportunity.
It's been fantastic. Thank you guys for that. Oh, Andy.
I tell a quick story because I think it's relevant even to this particular audience of Veritas Forum. My first year out of college was the worst year of my life for many, many reasons. And among those were health issues. And I ended up with pneumonia. And it's interesting. I haven't really thought about it in this context until just now. But I didn't have, I was never hospitalized. It was a relatively mild case. I was young. But I was on my back for 2 weeks with pneumonia in this little apartment in a new city, knowing nobody. And it really was the moment. I was 21 years old. It was the moment when I first in my life really realized one day I'm going to lie down in a bed like this with some illness and I won't get up. And I had to think about what actually mattered. And it was absolutely defining for the rest of my life. I would say those 2 weeks in the midst of what in my whole life was the worst year of my life to this day, nothing that's happening around us to me is as emotionally like dislocating as what I went through that year. And I mean, I lay there and I thought, okay, I'm a Christian. So I think in some sense, the kingdom of God is what matters most. Is God actually acting in the world? If God is, how can I be part of it? What's the kingdom about? I think it's about love. I want my life to be about love. All these other ambitions kind of evaporated. And suddenly I had this ambition to actually invest in love. And then I asked myself, well, how do you do that? And that in some ways has been like the quest of the rest of my life, is to orient my whole life around investing in love, and ideally love that outlasts my own life. So I wouldn't wish what that 2 weeks was like on anyone, even though I know many of us will go through something like that if we get this disease and get sick from it. But boy, it was a life-changing thing for me.
There's a great line in Hidden Life, which I'm going to mangle. Maybe Andy or Lydia remembers it. It's once you stop putting survival at the top of your priority list, it's very freeing. I'm really mangling that line.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I would say once you put certainty, once you get past certainty, like we take it for granted that our life is going to proceed in a certain way.
Yes.
And what this does is it rocks that. And so once you get beyond certainty, it's actually kind of liberating.